Well, welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm your host, James Warnock. My first guest today is Professor and Head of the Industrial and Systems Engineering Department, Dr. John Usher. John, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And you're Head of Industrial and Systems Engineering. Now, when people say mechanical engineering, they think of cars, automotive engineering. When people say civil engineering, they think of roads and bridges. When they say electrical engineering, they think of power supplies. But when people say industrial and systems engineering, they sometimes have a slightly confused look on their face. Mm-hmm. So how do you describe your discipline to people?
You're correct in the sense that you can't point to a building or a company and say that's an industrial engineering building or that's a company. A simple way to put it is we work everywhere. Our interest is in looking at systems and processes with the idea of how can I design or build or improve this from a perspective of, is there a cheaper way? Is there a faster way? Is there something that's safer? With the whole idea of how can I optimize that system or process? And so if you think about it, where you go today, there's no place or any company you can walk in where there's not a process or system in place. So an IE has the tools to be able to go into that, evaluate that, how can I make this better? So, if a person walks into Walmart and they're standing in line and saying, there's got to be a better way to do this. They have ideas for it. They're probably an industrial engineer.
So how did you get involved with industrial engineering? Were you standing in line at Walmart and that's what you thought, or was it some other way?
I've always been I like to build things. And so I have a perspective of seeing how things work. And so from that perspective, I get frustrated if it's not put together, built, designed, or run the most optimal way. And so from that, I'm an industrial engineer. I personally started in the manufacturing domain, which is a lot of people think industrial. They'll think, oh, first manufacturing, but that's just one small part of what industrial engineering is about. We work in pretty much any industry, as I indicated, but examples of where our graduates are going to work include manufacturing, transportation, distribution, retail, logistics, defense, entertainment. So it's just a wide variety of opportunities, and I like that.
It sounds like you have students, graduates going everywhere. Like you said, industrial engineers work pretty much everywhere. So what are some of the projects or the things that your faculty are working on?
Again, because of that wide variety, it's all over the board. If you think about transportation, we've seen recently with the increase in drones. If you think about that, what's the best way to handle the use of drones in various capacities? We've seen a lot, particularly in Mississippi in the South, is recovering from disasters. Well, we've been looking at how do I utilize drones to be able to bring supplies and handle the logistics for these areas where cars and other normal means of transportation can handle that. We've got professors looking at how do I put out forest fires more efficiently, forest fire mitigation. We have professors working in cybersecurity with the idea of wireless networks to essentially make them less susceptible to jamming. Things as simple as looking at pedestrian traffic. How do I design a facility to best handle the efficiency from a pedestrian viewpoint? Think about airports. We've all been frustrated in airports and the way those things are run or set out or laid out. So just a whole host of possibilities.
So I hear you mention transportation, forestry, drones, which are aerospace. It sounds like industrial engineering can be very multidisciplinary. Yes. In terms of the projects that you have.
And if you look at the projects from both students working on them and faculty, we're involved with pretty much a majority of the engineering departments, but also other departments across the university for that very reason. That our processes and systems are universal. So we can work with anybody. And if you look at the program itself, it's a blend of engineering and business. If I'm going to talk about a process, I have to understand the entire system itself, the economics of it, the cost of it, to be able to optimize that. So our students in their curriculum will take several business courses. They have to have that understanding.
So if a student has an interest in entrepreneurship, industrial engineering would be a great field for them to get into.
Sure.
Excellent. Well, John, thanks for being here today. It's been a pleasure talking with you. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after a couple of short messages.